Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eeks and Geeks.
Hi,
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Siberia.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Pumpkin.
The
Yay!
hesitancy.
Light pause, no big deal.
Just like grasshoppers, crickets, as we like.
We need a soundboard. Who's on soundboard duty?
Not me.
Oh, I
I do
can
everything
soundboard.
else.
Cricket sounds.
That would be fun to have a soundboard. Okay.
I
I'll
want
do-
like audience. Oh, if I had a soundboard, then like every time Siberia spoke, I'd do like the audience booing.
Boo.
No, you're right. We would never get through even
Or
a
like
second of a
you get like a
podcast.
rating below like a 3. It's just ah.
All of my movies.
You just drop from the floor like
Trap door
Fall
open.
down.
we all have an X buzzer. Like we're
Oh
in,
yeah.
like we're in was that America's Got Talent?
The X Factor.
That might be it.
I
No,
don't
it's-
watch those
No,
shows.
America's Got Talent has X's too.
They've got the X's.
Oh, okay. It's all
Yeah.
there's
Son
X's
of a
everywhere.
bitch.
Yeah,
X
the
usually
best.
means no.
Yeah.
All right, so
Anyways.
so this is the second pick in our mind fuck category, and I chose the movie Barbarian. So-
Ooh.
So if you didn't watch it, and you want to know the plot, or you don't want to be reminded, it is in a town for a job interview, young woman arrives at her Airbnb late in the night, only to find that it has been mistakenly double booked, and a strange man is already staying there. Against her better judgment, she decides to stay the night, but soon discovers that there is much more to be afraid of in the house than just a house guest.
Ain't that
An
Oh boy, there is.
yeah.
So, before we get into it, we do our little fun facts. I have like one giant fun fact, and it's
Oh,
how this movie like almost didn't come to be.
Oh.
That would have
Yeah.
been tragic.
So it was directed by Zach Krager. And I was watching an interview where he said that like he didn't think this movie was gonna pick up. He's like, it's strange. I know. He's like, it doesn't follow like a normal like movie structure act. He said, but I was willing to do anything. He said he like knocked on every door in Hollywood. He like had a spreadsheet of everybody that made a horror film in like the last
Oh my
10
God.
years.
Oh, I think I heard
Yeah.
about that.
And
Yeah.
he was like, I was willing to sell my house to like make this
Aw.
movie. He was like, call every favor I had. And he said that his like late writing partner was pitching a Whitest Kid You Know movie, which is like the group he's a part of. And Trevor goes, yeah, they like Whitest Kid You Know, but they only make horror films. And Zach's like, oh.
Gimme.
So Trevor set him up with the guys and they liked it. So they pushed it up to a company that rejected him the first time, but like got it up to the higher ups. And they were like, yeah, we'll make this movie. We'll give you like $3 million. We'll set you up in Bulgaria. Like, we'll get this.
Oh, yeah.
Zach was like, yeah. He was like, I'll go anywhere. I'll shoot this on the freaking moon. I just want to shoot this film.
That'd be way more difficult.
Yeah.
And, apparently like the top guy worked with Bill Skarsgård in It, so they got Bill on board and he had the lead actor, and I can't remember when oh god, what's his name, Justin Long came in.
Screen
but
Queen Justin Long.
yeah, Screen Queen Justin Long. But so then this is around when COVID was happening, and apparently the guy that was like funding it died, so then everything just got cut and they were like, you don't have any money anymore. So they fired everybody after like it was happening. And Zach was like, no, this can't be happening. And then like they finally like they were like, hold on, I think I have a guy that can like do this. So he like introduced him to another guy, and this guy was like, oh yeah, he was like, I'm down for this. He's like, how much were you gonna do it for? He was like, 3 million. He's like, okay, I'll give you like 4.5. And he was like, okay. And apparently they built like that whole like neighborhood. They built that whole set.
Wow.
Like, so like
Damn.
the scene where like it's like normal houses. It's normal houses. So they shot that first. And then they
Okay, I was wondering
yeah.
because I was like, that's the exact same street.
Yeah, it is. So they filmed all that first, and then they destroyed those houses.
Oh my god.
And he said at certain angles, it's like shot at certain angles because there's some parts that aren't
probably
destroyed.
all just facades.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
facade. Like the whole thing is a facade. So it was all built, and it was pretty much all like filmed in Bulgaria. But yeah, Zach was like, I had a movie and then I lost a movie and then I had a movie and then I lost a movie.
That's crazy.
seems crazy because the worst movies get made.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, how can this like
Right.
actually good one? Like nobody was willing.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird,
Yeah.
obviously, but I've seen weirder, worse movies.
Worst
Like,
movies.
So like
Seems obvious.
watching, like listening to how much he like fought for this movie is so fun to see. And yeah. But
and
yeah.
satisfying that the payout is like
Oh yeah, that it was like
that it was
actually
so
really
well
good.
received. Yeah.
But let's get into the thoughts.
Wait.
Oh,
Can we talk about movies we've watched?
What we
oh,
watched.
We
yeah.
didn't do a what we've watched section.
I forgot about that. What have you guys watched?
I've been watching
Nothing.
hella movies. And the only person that knows this is Kerstin.
I know.
But over the weekend, Joe and I entered the Screamiverse and we watched all 6 Scream movies.
Oh, you watched all 6 of them?
Yeah, we watched all of them this weekend. So I had never seen Scream. I feel like it was one that
Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
yeah, I feel like it was
I've
just
never
like
seen
one
it.
that I was like, I'm sure I've seen it. And then I watched
Mhm.
it and I was like, oh, I've definitely never seen this. And it was so good. It was
Yeah.
so fun. I didn't know that they were so like self-aware.
Yeah.
And like I guess I just thought they were more like Halloween, where they're like there's a million of them and they're all the same thing. It's like, oh my god, they're so meta, they're so funny.
Yeah.
Loved them, loved the new one. So that was a fun little journey to go on. And
Wait, what's
then
your ranking? Because you asked me my ranking.
I think it's almost the same as yours. I liked
Okay.
1, 6, 2, 4, 5, 3. 3
Okay.
was the only one that was like genuinely a dog shit movie.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like 3. I'm like, I could skip 3.
I don't think I've seen 3. I don't think I've only seen 1 and 2.
Don't need to. But the rest
Yeah.
of them were like, these are all super fun watchable movies.
Yeah.
I also watched the original Evil Dead movie, which I had never seen.
I've
before.
never seen that.
I've seen it. What'd you think?
The worst movie I've ever seen in my
Okay.
life.
I didn't think you would like it.
literally don't know how that like got enough of a following to have more movies be made.
No,
from
me
it.
neither.
You also don't like Sam Raimi's films, it
Well,
seems like.
I know. So we were like going to turn it on, and Joe was like, "Oh, it's Sam Raimi," and I was like, "Oh my god, it is!" I was like, "Well, then I'm gonna fucking hate it," and I did. I hated it so much.
Well, I'm picking Drag Me to Hell for my mindfuck, so
Girl, count
I'm
me
s-
out on that episode. And then I watched one that I heard going around on TikTok called Hellhole on Netflix.
Oh, I've heard of that. How was it?
yeah.
Pretty good. It was like I'm not typically, it's like an exorcism movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's a
Love.
Polish movie.
Mhm.
But it was really quite good and unexpected. And
Is it in Polish?
it is in Polish.
Mm.
But the Polish are making some good movies.
I get some bangers over there in
So it's
Poland.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
It means I will not
Yeah,
watch
it was like one of those ones on
I
Netflix.
canceled.
Or I had heard or seen a TikTok of people being like, it's the scariest movie on Netflix, which means it's
Yeah.
like not gonna be the scariest
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd heard people saying that it was like kind of good, so I put it on and I liked it. So there you go.
Okay.
That's what I've been watching.
Yeah.
I don't think
I just saw the Widow Mermaid, so
Just a little.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah, I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy. That's it.
Oh, how did you like it? I've heard people saying it's
so
very
sad.
traumatizing.
So sad. I cried like 7 times.
I just don't know if I have the capability to care enough about Marvel to cry at it again at this point.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so sad. There's it's got animal abuse in it.
Yeah, I've heard that's overwhelmingly what I've heard is that it's like really like graphic animal abuse. Like
Yeah,
people would
it
never watch
is.
it again because it's like so fucked up.
It's very
Oh.
What are they doing
sad.
in that movie? Jesus
What are they
Christ.
doing to these people?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
animals.
I guess so.
It's like-
I've come down with another addiction to fan fiction. It's all I've been doing.
Uh-oh.
I
I saw
just-
your tweet that was like me starting a new fan fiction at midnight.
I've read so many. It's all I've been doing for like 2 weeks. It's a
I didn't
sickness.
I haven't read fan fiction, but I've just read my comics every night.
I read one that was 400,000 words.
Ah!
It was a really long fan
We're
fiction.
like all under the
It took me like, I read it from like the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, and it took me like 5 days to get through it.
Oh my god.
It was good though.
Do you remember Do you guys remember that Kylo Ren one that was going around during quarantine?
Yeah.
No.
I read that one night and I was like, okay, I'm done. 6 a.m. Just read that entire thing.
I didn't read it, but I mean, I heard about it. I heard about where
It's
the
a thing.
lightsaber
It's a thing.
goes and does things.
Yep, there's lightsabers that do things.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, now let's get into everybody's thoughts.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go from the top to the bottom of what I see on my screen of people. And at the top is pumpkin.
Okay, let's see. I remembered to write my thoughts this time. I said, Barbarian is a fantastic horror movie that touches on the themes of sexual assault, abuse, and misogyny, but in a very respectful way. I love the amazing acting, camera work, and special effects makeup. The comedy sprinkled in helps alleviate the mood here and there without taking away from the seriousness of the subject matter. It was much scarier on the first watch, but so much sadder on the second watch. I give it a 10 out of 10. I love Barbarian.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next on my list is Miss Lauren.
I love this movie. This is just one of those ones, like, I saw it in theaters the first time, and it just is such a delightful, like, the way it subverts your expectations.
Yeah.
Like, that 180 twist that it does, where it hits black, and then you're, like, watching Justin Long down the road.
You're like,
it's just, like, one of the most bizarre and, like, amazing two halves of a movie, and the way that it all comes together is so good. I agree. I think watching it this time, it was like the camera work is so delicious, especially in the whole first part where they build the anticipation of, like, I think maybe especially watching it from, like, a woman's perspective, you're just, like, so on edge that whole first half that she's like in the house with him, because you're just like, is he in on it? Did he lure her here? Is he lying? And then the fact that he just turns out to be, like, a guy. He's just like some guy, and it just at every turn, like, has the best payoffs, and then it's just like, it's crazy, it's wild, it's got great acting, it's got great writing. It's just an amazing movie. And I would totally agree. The first time it was scary, and I think upon rewatches, it's like you have so much empathy for Mama.
Yeah.
You know?
Mother is mothering.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my god, it's actually like a really, really sad story of, like, this woman locked in a basement that you, like, see as a monster, but she's just like some lady, which is really awful. So yeah, I would give it, I think, like a 9.5. I think it's a really fantastic movie.
Yes.
Love.
All right, Siberia.
I love this movie. I think it is so good. And I will say the second watch for me just, like, wasn't as good, and maybe that's just inherently because, like, I know what's going on, but, like, the rewatchability just, like, wasn't as there for me as much as you guys were talking about. But that doesn't, like, take away from this movie being so good for me, because, like, the acting is so good, and all of the characters in this one especially feel like such real people.
Yes.
Like, you're just like, especially her, because aside from, like, a few little things, she does everything you're supposed to do in a horror movie.
Yeah, totally.
She's smart.
Besides going deeper into the cave when she very much at that point should not be doing.
Yeah, that guy would be a goner.
I would be like, I met him yesterday. I'm
gonna call the cops, and that's all I can do for you. So.
I literally, I said that. I turned to my roommate on the couch and I said, I would call the cops, and that would be a courtesy to him. Bye.
Bye, AJ.
Yeah, but I think, like, yeah, the director and the writing really does a good job of, like, by the end, you're like, oh, well, does she have to die?
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have to? Like, so the ability to create empathy for the thing that you've been scared of the whole movie is a very special thing to be able to do, and I think that makes this movie very special. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yay.
Nice. I agree. I think it's just one of those, I mean, this is now the third time that I've rewatched it, but I would say it's just one of those ones that has such an impact, like, the first time, and then once you know what's going to happen, like, it's obviously, like, that aspect of the watching experience is a little bit lessened, but it's still, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when this like came out and I saw the trailer for it and I was just like, oh, okay, it's like an Airbnb like killer thing. And then I saw, because I follow Zach on Twitter because I'm a fan of Whitest Kids You Know, and he like tweeted like, my movie's coming out. I was like, oh, you directed Barbarian? All right, I'm gonna go watch this. So like I saw it, me and my grandma went and saw it, and I just remember like watching it, and the whole time, like in the beginning, you're like, oh, is he the murderer? Is he not? Blah, blah, blah. And then that switch happens. And I just remember my grandma looking at me going, what? We're in the theaters. And I was like,
same grandma.
huh? But yeah, the first time I watched it, for the story. And then like the second time I watched it, I watched all the camera work because it's so good. Like there's one scene when like AJ like leans back and like stares down the hallway and the camera like follows him. Like the way that he does as he sits, it still follows him. Just like the way that you can tell that Zach like really like took his time with everything that he was giving him to make this. But yeah, it surpassed and is like my new favorite horror film. So I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Nice. And that gives us 9.6.
Hell
Slay.
yes.
What does it have on Rotten Tomatoes, out of curiosity?
Let me check. Let's see.
I'm sensing a number between 0 and 100.
I bet it has
think
an
you're wrong.
87. That's my guess.
It has a 93 from critics and a 71 from audience.
71 seems low.
Yeah.
That's because it's different and it's kind of out there and weird.
Yeah.
So people who just want like a slasher are gonna be like, that was weird.
Yeah.
The girls that get it, get
it.
But also, again, in terms of like horror movies, like if something has a 70 from audiences, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in.
That sounds great.
That's still good.
Yeah, that's great for a horror movie. I'm just surprised because like I feel like we usually as a group reflect the audience score pretty well.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who went and saw it. They didn't like it. And I think it's mostly from people that just like kind of missed the like overarching like themes of it, and they just thought it was like very random and weird. They didn't really like connect all the dots.
Yeah.
I also forgot to mention in my like talking about why I liked it. I also like all the themes, like you said, misogyny, sexual assault, and also like ACAB, because like showing how like freaking awful police are.
I
like,
had forgotten about that scene and I got mad all over.
I was so angry.
And it's like I have been, these have always been my interactions with police. Like like the way that like they're just like, this is dumb, like type of thing. Like so like that. Yeah, it's just got so many themes and like you said, like a couple of things I'm like, no, but for the main part, she's like smart in a lot of her decisions. Like she doesn't trust him in the beginning. Like she's like, I'm gonna go stay somewhere else. I'm gonna lock the door when I sleep. I'm gonna look at your stuff and tell my friends where I'm
gonna take a picture of your
when
ID.
she took a picture of his ID.
She's like,
smart.
You go, girl.
So like
I also like that the themes they're so well done without being like over the top about everything.
And being like, here.
It's like just sort of sprinkling in this like reflection of like socioeconomical statuses of like people in poor neighborhoods like not getting any attention from police, and that is put in a way that's like very that's just a scene, and like she's got to keep going on her journey. And like even the part where he's Justin Long's character is like on the phone with his agents and they're like, this girl is like making accusations against me, and like I don't know, the way that he reacts to it, and then when he's like talking to his friend about it.
Oh God,
and then when he tries to call her, even though he very much shouldn't try to call her.
It just like does these things so well without it being like, I don't know, like obnoxious or like in your face about how wrong these things are.
It wasn't
They're not like beating you over the head with how bad.
It's just like obviously wrong and icky.
Well, and it's like obviously wrong because like obviously like everything gets worse with each thing that happens. So like
but I think that because it kind of subtly it's not subtle, but because it like unfolds all of these like terrible things that like men and the community and the justice system and whatever do, people who aren't really like attuned to that being an issue, they might watch this movie and just be like, this is so weird.
Stupid. Yeah.
Like what does that have to do with anything? Like they're not really like connecting all the little dots and be like, ooh, yeah. Especially like I love the scene where AJ sees the tapes and then turns to the old man and is like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, you're one to talk.
You're literally
hot meat kettle. Like
sorry, guys.
but it's like a disconnect because he's so like thinking he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He can't even recognize, like, he's looking in a mirror. This guy, they've done the same thing.
Are you guys ready to get into the plot?
Get into the plot.
All right. Chapter 1. Tess Marshall arrives at a rental house in a rundown Detroit neighborhood of Brightmoor on the evening before a job interview. However, she finds that it's been double booked and is already occupied by a man, Keith. Initially unnerved by Keith, Tess warms up to him and decides to stay the night while Keith sleeps on the sofa. When she wakes up in the middle of the night, she is shaken to find that her bedroom door has been opened, but Keith is asleep, assures her that he did not touch the door. Discuss.
Did Mama open it?
Yeah,
Mama did open it.
Mama was sneaking in there, checking on her babies.
Mama said, how's my baby?
Mama said, don't let the bed bugs bite.
But let me bite.
This movie opens with the thing I hate / love most about horror movies is that music that's not music. It's just like
voices.
Like creepy noises. And you're like, yeah, you're like, stop. Stop. As it's like zooming in on her car, I was like,
It's so good. And then one of my favorite things, I guess it's like in this part and connects to another part, but like when you see the neighborhood at night, you're like, it's a neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she walks out the next morning, you're like,
it's like, yeah, because he even says at one point, he was just like, I mean, he's like, I wouldn't go out there. It's pretty scary. I don't know if you've seen it. And you're like, what?
You're like, I don't really remember.
Yeah. I thought it was just just a neighborhood.
Also, Keith, I get that you're nervous. Tess is very pretty. Stop acting so fucking weird. You look so creepy. Stop.
But he's also like so cute.
I think it's because we are getting this whole scene very much from Tess's POV. Yeah. So like we're seeing it from this scene of like she's being ultra cautious, ultra paranoid. Like this is a super scary situation. Like if you're her and like there's nowhere else to go and you're just like, oh my God, I have to like go in this house. This is so scary. Mm-hmm. And I love how they frame everything that happens in this opening shot. Like it's all from her POV. Mm-hmm. She's just like so scared. And like, once you know what the twist is, that like he is just some guy, it's just so funny. Like I just see him very much as like Joe or like Cody. Like
he's a goober.
He's trying so hard to not make her uncomfortable that it's like from her perspective, it's like suspicious.
He's like, I didn't open the wine.
It's like I didn't want to open the wine. I wanted to wait until you were here because you didn't know me. And I don't want to like open the wine while you're.
I thought if I opened it, you'd think I put something in it, which I wouldn't do. And it's like, stop talking, Keith. Stop it.
Once you know that he isn't some crazy guy, it's just like, oh, this poor man is. Just
which is why I actually liked. Sorry, I actually liked watching this opening sequence more because I'm like, just trying so hard.
He's like, a gentleman would never let a lady sleep in the. I'll sleep on the couch with no blankets and
you have about an hour left on those sheets. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know.
So sweet.
I saw this in theaters with my brother, and this whole opening thing, we kept turning to each other and being like, "No, there's something off about him." We'd be like, "No, actually." I think he's nice. And then it'd be another couple minutes of like, no, there's definitely something off. Yeah. He's a killer. Like it was just the two of us like going back and forth.
That's how me and my grandma was too. Like, cause I was like, I don't know if I trust him. Cause like my grandma's like a notorious, like she doesn't talk, but she's the one that leans over and is like, blah, blah. Like she'll just and then look at the screen, and the whole time my grandma's like, I don't trust him. And she's like, well, maybe I do. I don't know.
And then when the conversation circles back to like he knows the movie that she or like,
yes,
and it's like, oh, well, that's too
That's
much of
a
a coincidence.
little-
Like he
yeah.
he must know her and like know
Because
like
she's like
his
so
family.
insistent that like no one knows.
Yeah,
that movie.
she's like, there's no way. And then he's like the owner of like something, and she's like, well, why would you be this Airbnb? Like, it's just all so innocent, but also so suspicious looking.
I don't know if we're there yet, but when they're like arguing. No, we're not there yet. Never mind. But like later when he's arguing with her and like about what's downstairs, he's like, that doesn't sound like. I'm like, okay, now you sound a little suspicious.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's what I like about this, how it follows such like a weird like act structure, because like the whole first act is like one movie in itself. It's about these like two people staying in an Airbnb, and like the whole time you're thinking that it's just these two. Because at the time I'm like, I heard Justin Long was in this. When is he coming in? Right. It's like one of those like, it's just about these two. Like it's just built this relationship, and the whole time you're trying to decide, is he the killer? Like is he the one that's doing this? Because everything is so suspicious. Because like, why is it double booked? Why does he know about this movie? Like it's all like sprinkled in.
And they just do like such a perfectly fine line of like, he's not overtly creepy, but he's not like.
I thought the scene, because like they're doing the duvet and he's making her laugh and it's like cute or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there's like a pause afterward where they both just kind of stare at each other, and you're like, is this a cute moment or is this creepy? Like I can't tell, like this look in his eyes, and it's just, and like
I think the director wants you to feel like her. To be like,
yes,
I can trust this guy. I don't know if I can trust this guy.
Yeah,
I love that you pulled that exact moment where they're like goofing off, and then there's this beat where it's like, ooh, now like it's like she realizes that they're in her room, like, and then she's like, ooh, no, is he seeing this as like, is he, because what if he makes a move on her, and then like. What would she do? Where would she go if he makes it uncomfortable? If he makes a move that makes things weird? And I loved that beat of where her face just kind of falls, and she's like, "Oh, I hope this is just like good night and like get the fuck out."
Did I just have too much fun?
Yes, yeah. It's they just play it out so well.
Yeah,
and then they wake up and like. He goes off and she does her thing, and it's like, okay, well, they made it through the night. Like, okay, I guess it's all good. Or is it luring her even farther into his
or is he like the second night's the real one?
The first time I saw it, when the door creaks open and she gets up and he's like on the couch and he's like making noises like he's having a dream. I thought he was coming into her room, and as soon as he saw her move, he like got back on the couch, but had to like cover up that he wasn't being perfectly still. So he was pretending to dream. So I was very suspicious of him at that point. I was like, girl, he was trying to sneak into your room. I was so creeped out by him.
Well, did you catch when the door opens? There's
a noise.
Yeah, it's not like a squeaking of the door hinge. It's like a squeaking of like a toy. There's like a very strange, and this is the only time that I've watched it that I caught it, but it was like a very strange like toy squeaky noise when the door opens. And I was like, and that was why that was the only time that I was like, oh, is it Mama like with one of her like little fucking like baby toys at the door?
See, I thought it was like a surprised kind of squeak that you would make, like like that kind of a noise, because I thought Mama was like she didn't want to get caught, and so she ran back out. Well, but I heard that noise the second time too. I was like, what was that sound?
Do we think Mama ran back downstairs, or like she just checked in on her way out to go prowl the neighborhood, or like I just don't know, like where did she go in this scene to where like she just like was not there anymore?
Well, the bedroom door and the door to the basement are like right across from each other, so I feel like she could duck back in there quickly. Maybe
I thought you saw you see when you see the door like slowly, the door to the basement slowly close, and Tess doesn't notice it, so Mama had gone back down there.
I didn't notice that. Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah,
I almost want to. Can we like pause, because I kind of want to get my iPad and like play that sound. Okay, it's before.
I like this like sleuth section of the podcast.
I know. Well, I'm just like, now I'm curious. I'm like, if we both heard it, like what was that?
Lauren is Batman, the world's greatest detective.
Watching the movie back. Okay, should be. It's even
Play it
worse.
again.
Listen. Can you hear it? Hang on. Let me go back 10 seconds. So that's it opening.
I can't hear anything.
I can't hear anything.
Nothing.
Oh wait, I did hear it that time.
I heard it.
It's almost like maybe a kiss. Like sort of like that sort of sound.
It's like a weird squeak kind of
Ooh,
a
yeah.
shrieky
That is
sound.
so strange.
Okay,
I don't like it.
Hate that. Don't know what it is. Hate it. Anyway.
But we know it's Mama.
She's in there.
Also, the budget was $4.5 million and it grossed $45.4 million.
Nice.
Hey.
I love that. We love a low budget, high gross.
Yeah.
Also, can we acknowledge just how like effortlessly pretty Tess is?
Oh,
she's so pretty.
She is
Girl.
so pretty.
She's so pretty.
And Bill Skarsgård's so cute in this movie.
I saw a tweet that was like, Bill Skarsgård is the scariest person that I want to fuck.
Yeah.
Yes. I almost think it really works. The fact that he is well known for playing Pennywise, it's like it almost sets you up with a feeling of unease when you see him. It's like oh, you know the girlfriend in Get Out, and then she did The Perfection, and it's almost like you see her and you're like,
I don't like you.
what's she up to?
You're suspicious.
But then it's like it subverts expectations, and I love it.
All right.
It's a perfect setup.
Perfect setup.
It is.
All right. Chapter 2. The next morning, Tess goes for her interview and is warned not to stay in the area near the house. Returning to the house, she is chased inside by a homeless man who yells at her to leave. She becomes locked in the basement and stumbles across a hidden corridor leading to a room with a camcorder, a stained mattress, and a bloody handprint. Keith returns to the house, frees Tess from the basement, and investigates the hidden corridor. When he does not return, Tess follows him and finds a subterranean tunnel attached to the hidden corridor, where she finds Keith injured. The pair are attacked by a naked, deformed woman, credited as the mother, who kills Keith. Discuss.
Okay, bro, the second that the random person that interviewing me, and I tell them where I'm staying, and they're like, you shouldn't be staying there. I'd be like, okay, cool. I ain't staying there again.
Yeah, literally just go to the airport. Like, just go home. You've done the interview. Go home.
Interview's over. Let's go home.
I mean, I guess she has to get her stuff.
But then get your stuff and leave. Why are you going to the basement? Why are you checking the basement out? What you doing?
The part where, like we've said, like everyone does things very realistically in this movie, but his refusal to like believe her when she's like, there's a scary fucking room in the basement. It's like behind a door.
That's the part where I was like, is he really in on this?
It's like
he does not believe her.
Yeah. Because you're still in that POV of like Tess because she's like, no, like let's leave, and we're like, yes, leave.
Although I thought upon a second rewatch, I thought it was actually kind of clever that like she's like, there's a room with a bed, a camera, and a bucket, and like anybody who would know would be like, oh fuck, but to like a privileged man, he might be like, so what, a bed and a bucket, what's scary about that? And it's like,
that's true,
you don't get it. You don't even know that you have to be afraid.
I would have been like, there's like a rape room down there. Like,
it's
like
there's like a
should have spelled it out for him.
Like it's like not just like a bucket in the basement. It's like
there's literally like a rape dungeon. Yeah, like,
and it's like, hey, if you want to go investigate that, here's my keys. See you never.
Why did he, when he was like, wait, I was like, why do you let her go home?
Mm-hmm.
Why does she have to stay? Because you want to go check it out.
And then would not anyone go down there, see the rape room, and be like, okay, yes. But he goes farther
deeper.
I thought Mama grabbed him.
Oh, you think so? Do you think she snatches him?
That's what I had assumed. Because I don't think he would have even noticed the door was there. I don't know.
Oh, that could be it.
Unless
he just like doesn't say anything.
Unless Mama had left the door open. And that's why he was kind of like, yeah, I see the room you're talking about, but what the...
Yeah.
Have you seen the tunnel?
and you're still doubting, like, because once he's down there and she starts like going to get him and she's freaking out, And not only that, but you hear how far away he sounds. And
Yes.
it's like, oh my God, he's so far away. But then it's like, is he just like luring her
That's
to get her
what I
down
was
there by like calling for
thinking.
help?
Because like even his cries for help they sound like just weird enough.
Yeah.
Just be like, help me. Help me. It's
you
like
you don't hear Mama at all. You just hear him.
Yeah, and he doesn't even sound particularly, he sounds like almost a little too calm. Yeah. And you're like, is he really in trouble or is this a trap?
Yeah. It's literally not until his head gets bashed against the wall that you're like, oh, it's not him.
Oh, he was just some guy.
Yeah.
Until I see them dangly titties, I think that it's him.
Yeah. Which, like, poor guy. He was really just trying to be helpful, but
he just didn't want to open the wine without her.
I know. He didn't want to poison her.
I'm also wondering, I wonder if there's like different pathways in that tunnel, because he's like, don't go that way. And it's like, but she just came that way. There's nothing there.
Unless he's just like, disoriented.
I was thinking either that or he was confused as to which way Mama went. And he thought she had gone that way. So he was like, no, we got to go this way.
Yeah.
Not realizing Mama was behind him. I'm guessing he was just like disoriented.
I think he was.
She's right behind me.
She's right behind me.
That head bashing, when I saw it for the first time in the theater, I was like, oh. I couldn't believe they just did that. I was like, moment. Oh my God.
And then it's like,
yeah, that's another moment where it just like takes a turn, because it's this like kind of like slope, and then it's just like bam, head bash, and you're like, oh.
And I think you don't expect it to be like a monster movie. You're just like, wait, what the fuck is going on here?
Because the whole time I'm thinking like Barbarian is referencing like a serial killer or something, and I'm thinking he's probably the serial killer. So it's just like a monster lady showing up. You're like, huh?
Fucking. To be fair, the Barbarian really is the guy. That's
because
that old man.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because the street is Barbary and he refuses to leave it. He's like the Barbarian.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Someone also made the comment.
That's what I thought it was trying to be.
Someone also made the comment, because I like reading the reviews on Letterboxd, and somebody said, you can't spell Barbarian without Airbnb.
That's true too.
It's got layers, baby.
Layers. We also didn't talk about it like before, like because we jumped into like when Keith happened, but like that first time when she's down in the tunnel and she opens it and she goes,
nope.
Yeah,
that's like another like one of those like comical moments where it's like but also it's like
and the rig she sets up to be able to like see.
That's so smart with the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do like they just kind of like drop in little bits of comedy here and there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that helps.
It's a funny ass movie.
Yeah.
And it keeps our characters like relatable, because you're like, that would be my reaction. I would see that and be like, nope. Not doing that. Yeah. I also, because we were talking about Keith unintentionally like being creepy and freaking her out.
Mm-hmm.
And like not getting why a room with a bed and a camera is like a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The like homeless guy trying to like chase her down and trying to stop her, and he just is coming across so scary.
She's like, come out that house.
Yeah.
And you're like,
no.
I feel like that was another like big thing this movie was doing, is showing like how like scary it is to be a woman, and how often like men, even when they're trying to be helpful, are like coming across the wrong way. And you're like, you're making this worse, dude.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
I'm a nice guy, I swear.
It's a lot of like looks aren't what they seem, and because they play on that, it's like why it makes Bill Skarsgård's character scarier, because it's like they're already playing on this like people aren't as what are always what they seem. You've got like a homeless man that looks scary, but he's just trying to help her. You've got like this crazy deformed woman who is just like mentally ill and abused. Then it's like, well, is this nice looking man actually a nice looking man?
Right. Yeah.
He is.
He is.
Poor guy.
Also, all I could think about was how, because Tess goes down to that basement to get more toilet paper and the door shuts behind her and all this happens. And I was like, Tess has had to pee this whole time.
Go piss, girl. There's a bucket.
I didn't even think about that.
That's probably what that's the piss bucket for sure.
The piss
Probably a
bucket.
piss bucket.
I
Just
wonder
like-
if Tess is a girl that pees or a bitch that pisses.
She's a bitch.
She's a bitch that
She's-
pisses.
yeah.
It's not even a question.
Oh, the scene where she lights up the hallway with the mirror and like starts going down there to like the rape room or whatever. The first time I saw it, I was so scared the door was gonna shut behind her.
Yeah.
I was like holding my breath. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to it later. Never mind.
Also, I'm a bad person. I probably would have left Keith there. I would have seen those
no.
stairs
Yeah,
and
Keith
heard
would've
his
been-
screaming and been like, yeah, I'll call the cops. But
I would give him the courtesy of calling the police, but my ass would be out of there.
Literally,
Yeah,
Keith
been
would
gone.
stand no chance. Like
Like,
I would.
if it was one of you guys, I probably would go down there. But if it was,
I
I
don't
met
need
him
you
a
to.
day ago.
Yeah.
Call
no.
that's also because I would still be scared it's a trap. I'm like, maybe
Mhm.
you're in trouble. Maybe this is a trap. I'll call the cops, but I'm gonna go, dude.
When you hear how far down that tunnel goes, I'm not going down
No.
there.
No.
No.
Anyone who goes down there is never coming back up. Like
No,
you couldn't
ever.
make me do anything to go down there when you hear how deep it goes.
You can't make me.
Oh, and when even if I had gone down there, the minute she sees those cages, I would be
The
like,
bars,
no,
Bye.
I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out.
Those
And
I'm out.
that's the moment she
no.
starts screaming louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also
Yes.
another part because Keith there's a part there that I'm like, Tess, shut up, because Keith's like, shh, 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 and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Tess, be quiet.
Yeah.
I was watching this
Shush.
earlier with my roommate Jackie, and I was like, why would she go down there? And she was like, maybe she wants his dick. And it like panned to just like a close up of the down of the tunnel, and I was like, I have never wanted dick.
No.
Never in my life.
Even if it was Pedro Pascal, I'd be like,
Like,
love you, baby.
uh-uh.
I'm going.
Yeah.
So sorry. When Keith like crawls up on all fours, I would have died from a heart attack on the spot.
Like, bruh,
Like
get
my heart
up.
would have just stopped. I'd be dead.
That part was freaky when he just crawls up and you're like, ugh.
Like I get why he's crawling, but I would have been like, bro, don't
Yeah.
ever
Because he's just a
fucking do
baby.
He's just
He's just a baby.
that. Ew.
Uh,
All right, anything else from this plot?
No,
No,
let's
I'm
get to
so excited
Justin
for the next
Long.
one, though.
Here we
Justin
go.
motherfucking Long showing up.
2 weeks later, the house owner, actor AJ Gilbright, is fired from a television series over allegations that he R-worded his co-star. Pressured to sell assets to pay legal costs, AJ travels to Detroit to inspect the house before selling it. AJ finds the hidden tunnel and tries to measure it, believing it may increase the house's value. The mother attacks AJ in the tunnel, and he falls into a hole where he meets Tess.
Do we want to talk about comedy? Because him measuring the tunnel
One of the funniest scenes in a horror movie.
Was crying.
I was peeing myself the first time I saw it. I was like,
Because-
oh my God.
He has that moment where he goes, oh my God. And you think he's scared. And then he's like,
And then he's
and then you see him Googling, can
Yeah.
I use this as square footage for the house? I was like, I can't believe you. AJ, what the fuck, dude?
He's so unfazed, like pulling the tape out, like going down the tunnels, like, oh my God.
and it's like it gets funnier because that happens because he sees it and he's like, oh my God. And then he Googles it and then you see him measure it and then he sees the open thing and you think he's
He's
gonna
like,
be
"Oh."
like, what the heck? And then he starts measuring
just
the tunnel.
keeps measuring. He sees the pages and he's like, what the fuck? And then just keeps measuring. I'm like, AJ, run.
Oh,
He was like,
so
sick,
funny.
9 feet down.
It's so funny. The whole scene is just
Ugh.
like insane.
He's
Yeah, it's
so
such a distinct tone
shit.
switch that
Oh,
it's
the
like,
cut to the Pacific Coast Highway is one of the
Yeah. Just
him
craziest things
driving,
I've ever seen in my
singing
life.
I literally, when I saw it in theaters, I thought they had like fucked up the projector. I thought they were playing the wrong movie because it does like a hard cut and it's just black and silent
Yeah.
for a couple seconds. And then it starts up with him driving on the beach. And I was like, are they playing the wrong movie? What is happening?
I
was
remember Joe
so
and I just looked at
confused.
each other like, what the fuck? Like, what
I've
is
noticed
this?
I've noticed like people that come from like sketch comedy backgrounds make really good horror films. I mean,
Mhm.
Jordan Peele, Zach
Mhm.
Krager, like it's like they take that humor that they have and put it in it so it feels real.
John
Like,
Krasinski is really good at that too.
yeah, and it's
Because
just like, yeah.
I think it's because both comedy and horror are about subverting expectation.
Mhm.
So when you
Yeah.
combine the two, it's just like, mwah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like if Zach keeps directing, like I think he could become my favorite director because right now I love Jordan Peele. I love Ari Aster. I haven't seen the new one, so that might change, but
Okay.
but like Jordan Peele's been like created some of like the best horror films that I've seen. So I hope Zach keeps doing it because
I'd watch his next
he's
movie for
got,
sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
He says he
I
wants to. He says he wants to keep making horror, and I'm like, hell yeah, bitch.
Also, I like how, like, does it specifically say 2 weeks have passed in the movie? Because did
Yeah,
I
I
miss
didn't
that?
know that it was that long.
Yeah, when AJ calls like whoever's running his Airbnb, she's like, no, the last person checked out 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So,
I know
um,
when she says that, I was like, Tessa's been down there for how long?
Oh my
but then
god.
I feel like you really get the feel that she's been down there a while because she's like, I know what's going on.
She's like,
Promise
drink the
me.
fucking milk.
Like, drink the fucking milk, bitch. You
Shut
don't want
up.
to get her
Don't be
upset.
loud. Yeah.
There were little things they kind of like sprinkled in that I loved. Like dealing with AJ that I felt like just kind of again said a lot about like misogyny and like all that. One, his mom being like such a boy mom and being like, of
Mhm.
course, honey, I know that you would never do something like that. And
Yeah.
she's just like such a sweet, doting mom that thinks her precious little angel
My
could do no
precious little
wrong.
kid never do that.
do that.
Right?
He is such a piece of shit at
Such a piece
he
of
literally
shit.
does not have a single scene where he's got like any redeeming qualities. He is just
No,
like the
he's so
biggest
horrible.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
But in a way that is like so societally like
Normal.
you would just be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's a nice guy. Like yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But then he's just like a piece of shit all the time in every scenario, and everyone's just like, no one bats an eye.
Love him.
Fucking man.
Also, I have a quick fun fact, and I'll let you speak. Zach makes like 2 cameos in this. The director, he's on the phone call. He's like one of the people that's talking to AJ, and then he's
Oh.
also the friend that AJ's talking to. But you don't see Zach's
What up,
face.
faggot?
Yeah, you see just the back of his head. So
Oh,
like
that's funny.
Zach makes like 2 like little short cameos. I thought that
That's
was
funny.
fun.
What up,
Okay.
faggot is the best line in a horror movie that's ever happened.
What you
I
gonna
want
say?
to. It's like it's my reaction image to like everything. I'm like, what up? Good.
What you gonna say, pumpkin?
I also liked they like when he's talking to his financial advisor or whoever that guy is,
Mhm.
they like show the pictures of this guy with his daughters, and then he's like, you need to find like financial maintenance somewhere else. And I felt like it was really kind of a nice touch. They showed like one dude who was like, no, you are a piece of shit and I won't
Yes.
work with you.
I know what the fuck
Maybe
you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe everybody else would be like, oh no, yeah, I know you didn't do it, whatever. But like, no, I have
Yeah.
daughters. Fuck you.
Not me,
Yeah.
bitch.
No.
I liked that they like threw in that guy and then his mom and then the best friend. And it just kind of like really sort of builds how people like AJ exist.
Mhm.
Yeah, because his best friend was like, I mean, what really did happen? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe whatever you said, but like,
Yeah.
what happened? And you're just
Yeah.
like,
And then
of
his mom
course.
being like, "Love you, sweetie."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
and how pathetic AJ is on the phone when he's like, I'm not even mad at you for it, and I hope you're not mad at me. And I'm like, she's pressing charges against
Yeah.
you.
Like if
Of
anything
course she's
happened that
mad
night-
at you.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's like,
what a piece of shit.
she's way more than mad at you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like such a real like show of like it was like, well, she kept saying no, but like she totally like she gave in with a little
She came
persuasion.
around, you
Yeah.
know, like
And
I'm
it's
very
like-
persuasive.
And it's like, no, that's bad. Like,
That's what it is.
that's what it is, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
just because you convinced her to say yes
Mhm.
doesn't mean it was a real yes.
No.
I will say I really
But
liked his
My
good
scream queen, Justin Long, did such. Oh,
That was
But right in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah,
Literally right in the middle.
what happened there?
Well, because you started talking, so I was like, I'm sorry.
Are we delayed for you?
Yeah, are you delayed?
Maybe a little. It like kind of sometimes a little bit.
Okay, because Pumpkin was like fully in a
I was like halfway through a sentence. You just started talking. I was like,
No,
okay, well.
then definitely I was delayed in that moment. Then
I was
We all just went. What are you doing?
I was like, okay, sorry.
yeah, you know what? Shut the fuck up.
I just wanted to say, I really like his Gudetama boxers, and I wish I had a pair. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Your Scream Queen, Justin Long.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. I was saying just because he's a shitty character, like he just does
and then my
such a good
Scream
job
Queen,
in horror
Justin
movies.
Long. Oh. Now I'm just making fun of you. Sorry, but that's what it looked like.
Just in the middle of a sentence.
Sorry, I had to.
Okay.
Let's just do that to Siberia for the rest of the episode.
Well, then I just will not be speaking.
No. I got my gag out.
Okay.
I apologize.
Good.
Sincerely.
I don't.
Okay, do we have anything more about AJ?
Where do we end off?
No.
Oh, we ended where like the mother like shoves AJ
Oh, okay.
and he meets Tess.
Just drink the hairy bottle nipple. Just do it.
Little
Hairy bottle
We
nipple was
haven't
my name in
got
high
to the
school.
hairy bottle nipple yet because it cuts to black after that.
Oh.
All right, everybody move on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make this a very short chapter 3 because it's the quick flashback scene. So a flashback to the 80s where it shows Frank, who is shopping for seemingly baby goods, the original house owner, and then is shown abducting a woman, R-wording them, and then keeping them captive in tunnels. That's the scene.
Well, it doesn't show that for our listeners who haven't seen it and are scared to watch it. None of the like bad stuff is shown. It's just implied.
Yeah, you don't see any of that. Yeah. I got super excited when I saw the actor because he's been in a couple horror films that I like. One of them's 31. But I was like, oh, we're gonna get more of him. Not really.
No.
Don't let me interrupt.
Wait, I'm gonna interrupt both of you. This is another part where the camera work is so good. Like the way that it follows him kind of throughout. It's like it's a different movie again. Like
it feels like Edward Scissorhands.
It does. Like the colors of it.
It's so bright.
Yeah, and the way that it just kind of follows him a little bit, like that's really cool. Like
they look like GTA being right behind him.
Yes.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's like it's another movie again. It's like it switches genres again. Yeah.
And also this like cute little like store assistant who just wants to help him have the best birth ever, and he's like, I'm gonna go rape a lady.
When he like goes into her house and it's just like,
you have to say R word for YouTube.
Y'all have been saying it this whole time.
I said R word.
No, we said it.
Lauren and I have been saying it.
I said R word. YouTube doesn't.
We're not monetized anyway.
That's true.
Eventually we will, and this episode won't make us money.
I can't remember last time I got a new subscriber, so I'm not even worried about it.
Anyways,
that's okay. Is it implied that she is like a baby from one of his incest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because later the homeless guy says, and he had babies with the babies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which makes me want to tear my eyes out.
Yeah.
Which is how you get mama.
It does also beg the question, what else? How many are down there, do you think?
There's lots of cages.
Yeah.
Lots of cages.
I was assuming she's the only one still left alive because at some point he got too old.
Yeah, because he's so old.
He is ancient.
His little cum dungeon.
Oh,
cum dungeon.
And she must be like product of like multiple to be that like she's like
deformed.
Yeah.
And like huge.
She's a big woman.
She's big.
She's tall.
Like, who did you come out of?
Yeah.
I also want to discuss, because I've seen this on TikTok, where people say like it's degrading to keep using the naked old lady as like a scary thing. This one I don't mind it as much because it gives like it's a part of the story.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you're not like making fun of Mother. Like in the end, like you said, we feel empathy for her.
Oh, I'm team Mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mother.
There are other horror movies where I'm really tired of the trope of like, ooh, saggy boobies.
Yeah.
But no, like these are useful saggy boobies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they serve a purpose.
In Barbarian, there's like a reason she's like that. It's kind of a shame that this movie came after that trope has been used a bunch of times.
It's like that meme of like, fuck that trope, not you.
Yeah.
Not you. Okay.
She's also not that old, so
no, she's just embracing her naked self.
Yeah.
Anything else about creepy Frank?
Get us to the hairy nipple.
Yeah, we get past Frank.
I don't know why his neighbor thought he was going to take it so hard that he was moving when it seems like he barely gives conversation to anybody.
It's like, just don't want you to be surprised when the sign goes up.
Like, okay, well.
He was like, "What's your name, son?"
That'd be me with my neighbors. I'm like, I don't fucking know who you are. Bye.
We had a very funny interaction with our neighbors the other day. We have a neighbor whose dog gets out all the time, and so we like, I know the drill to like go rescue this dog, and we like we're bringing it back over, and his neighbors were outside, and so we were like having to make small talk with him, like waiting for the guy whose dog it was to come over, and we were like, "Oh, did you guys just like move in here?" Because there's like I didn't know which house we were like behind, and someone moved in like kind of recently. And so I was like, "Oh, did you guys just move in?" He was like, "Oh no, we've lived here for 17 years." And I was like, "Well, it's nice to meet you."
Wow.
We also lived here for 6 years, and we live literally right across from each other. So it's nice to meet you, Mike and Katie. Neighbor things.
I know one neighbor, and that's it. I don't know anybody else.
I know there's an old lady that lives next to me, and she always waves when she sees me, but that's it.
Cute.
Yeah, I wave at the people in my neighborhood. I don't know their names. I've never spoken to them.
One of them is probably named Bob or Roberta.
I don't think we have a Roberta, actually.
There's
Bob,
probably a
probably.
Bob. It's probably a Bob.
Yeah,
Short
Bob.
for Roberta.
I will
Yeah.
bet money on Bob. I'm not betting any money on Roberta.
No, Roberta's a little bit of a wild card name to throw out there.
Bob,
Okay, fuck me again. Jesus Christ.
Bob during
thank
the
you.
day, Roberta at night.
It's
Are we
Bully
misnaming?
Siberia episode.
Wow,
I
it
thought
really
we were,
is, isn't
I
it?
thought we were on a tangent that was getting cut out.
I decide later what stays and what goes.
Okay.
That's Overlord Editor Pumpkin.
Okay.
Anything bullying Siberia is staying in.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to cut our tangents, even though they're funny, because they go on for like 9 minutes, and I'm like, we can't leave all this in. We talk about
And-
nothing.
You're so funny.
We have to at least keep our 25 listeners hostage for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
I'd
They
rather
might
Hey.
like us for our quirky
Hey.
tangents.
They are very dedicated to us.
They are. Pops Kamalu, we love you.
We love
Shout
you.
out to Storm Sorceress.
Yes.
We
Oh
love
yeah.
her.
What I see, I don't know how much of this is staying or going. I don't know if your shout outs can stay or not. I have to listen.
Oh, no.
I have to listen to it back.
That's up to the gods now.
That's fair. I accept
And by
my fate.
God, you mean me.
Yeah.
Let's
You are-
get next chapter.
you are-
Next chapter.
Okay, let's go to the next chapter. In the present, the mother locks Tess and AJ in a hole. Tess tells AJ that mother wants them to act as their children. AJ is dragged away by mother, who forcibly breastfeeds him. Tess uses this opportunity to escape the house with the help of Andre, the homeless man from earlier, who warns her that mother will come for her at nightfall. When mother is distracted by Tess's escape, AJ finds a room which mother refuses to approach. Inside, he finds bedridden Frank, assumes to be another victim of mother. AJ reassures Frank that he will call the police before finding evidence of Frank's crimes. Frank kills himself with a concealed revolver. Tess leads the police to the house. They dismiss her story and leave as night falls. Discuss.
Howard. All of them.
Yeah.
When Mama takes AJ into the room and she strokes his nose and goes, boop. I was in tears laughing.
Well, because it's the same thing on the little VHS she's watching.
I know, but her just saying the word boop is so funny.
Literally,
can you imagine like a terrifying monster just stroking your face going boop?
Well, because like I was kind of like, I mean, if I get to go to like the cozy pink room, I guess like sucking on a boob isn't the worst thing.
It smells really bad in there though.
And there's a hairy bottle nipple in my face. I'd take a cozy blanket with a nice TV show and a boob.
It smells bad in there.
You don't know.
Yeah, when he first sees it, he's like gagging and covers his nose.
Yeah,
he can just be gagging because, like, oh my god, girl, is this your place?
He's gagged. Is this your place? This is nice.
Girl, this all you right here?
My scream queen, Justin Long, would never.
Also funny.
Tess is like, fuck you. Bye.
That was Tessa's face when she walks by and she sees that AJ's being breastfed. In her face, she's like, ooh, and just keeps walking. She's like,
gonna keep going.
I'm not helping you. I gotta go, like, man.
Been there, done that.
The fact that he shoots her too is just like, can this fucking guy?
Oh my god!
Guy.
It's like the business guy in Train to Busan, where you're like, how are you the worst person?
At every moment.
When he gets a knife and then it startles and like drops it, and then later he has a gun and then startles and drops, and I'm like, you are useless. Yeah. You are useless.
So useless.
Scream Queen Justin Long, get it together.
But the first watch, when he like goes up and AJ's up against the door and like Mama comes close and then like slinks back into the shadows, I was like, ooh. But then on the second watch, you're like, oh,
she's cute.
Yeah.
So,
it's
and
like
he's
you
like
said, like,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, it's like you said, how in the beginning, like the first time you watch it, it's like scary. It's like this monster and it's like, ew, this is gross. But then like the second time you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, she just like, that's what she was learning. Like she had that thing playing, like she just wanted a baby like that. Like it's really sad.
Like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
She's scared of Frank, even though he's like a frail old man and can't do anything. She could easily rip him apart. Like she's traumatized and scared of him.
Yeah.
She has some of the most endurance on a person I've literally ever seen.
She's drunk.
We'll find that out later.
She's fucking hulking out.
I also thought it was funny when AJ sees Frank and he goes, we're gonna get out of here. Well, I'm gonna get out of here.
It's another part of like his douchiness, because he's like, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Well, I'm gonna get out of here, but I'll send somebody to help you.
I think that whole in that room, like in Frank's little room, is such an interesting scene. Like he's so helpless and like disgusting and frail, and like he still has all this power over Mama, and then he just
tapes.
Like he shoots himself. It's just like, damn.
But like those tapes, like I don't even want to know what is on those.
Yeah, did you like hear a little bit of it when AJ was watching? And it's just like, and then AJ just such a fucking hypocrite. He's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" I was like, "What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you, my guy?" Like, yeah, that's what I like about this movie too. It's like I hate like the trope of like using sexual assault, but you don't see it here. It's implied, obviously, but you don't like see it. And I'm like, I like that. That's a lot better. Like,
which, like, yeah, I can appreciate. Like, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
think it needs to be had explicitly and on screen.
Yeah, I don't need to watch it happen to a woman. You can just imply that it happened, and that's bad enough. Like,
yeah.
But the actor for Frank, he is so. Like, as an old man in that bed, he's so frail and helpless. He can't do anything, but he just looks so fucking creepy. The way he's, like, staring at AJ, I was like...
You're like, is he gonna, like, get up or, like...
Yeah, because he makes the comment, it was like, I'm gonna call the police, and they're gonna come here, and then, like, this little look on his face, and you're like, oh.
And you think he's gonna shoot AJ for a second, and then he turns it on himself. But yeah, I was like, this actor is really good. He's so creepy.
He's a good actor. He's good at playing those like creepy ass parts. What else is in this part? Oh yeah, this is when you find out the homeless man was actually really nice.
Yeah.
Then don't run after people saying,
Don't run
"Hey,
at me and tell me
stop,
to
little
come out the
lady."
house.
He had urgency behind his message.
Well, I would have been like, come out of that. Like, there is something else in there that you don't know about. I have to tell you about it. Like, be explicit, my guy.
Don't go in there. It's dangerous. Like,
but then how would we as the audience be scared of the homeless man?
I guess.
Is this when he's brought them back to his like little
we'll just
think we're
Tess
there yet.
right now. Yeah, it's just like he's just talking to Tess about everything, and like because she's like, "There's another guy in there. We have to." He's like, "You want to go back in there?"
Yeah.
And then he like leaves. He's like, "You go for it." All right. I told him what to say.
Yeah, Tess, I would have left him. I'm like, "Sorry, AJ, I gotta go."
Yeah, because this is also when the police come too. Like, this is that awful scene.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she does look crazy because
but she also looks like she has been tortured. Like, she's like covered in dirt and grime. Like,
is that not just like a worse nightmare if you've like actually been like kidnapped and been in this like horrible situation and you find people and they just are like,
"You're crazy.
You look like a crazy person." You're just like, ah! They're like, "Where's your ID?" And she's like, "I don't fucking have anything. I've been in a basement for 2 weeks."
But you were talking about like how this movie touches on like socioeconomic statuses and stuff, and it's like, how often have these cops had to deal with just like crackheads saying some like rambling nonsense, and they just have to be like, okay, like it feels like a parent that has to like check under the bed for monsters, and it's like, of course, there's
but I'm like, okay,
there.
then can you actually just go check? Like, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Well, but it's not her house. I mean, she does just seem like a crazy woman who's like, "There's a monster down there." And they're like, "Okay, this isn't your house. And you broke this person's window." Yeah, I was just kind of like, you know, like if it's a bad, obviously it's a bad neighborhood. It's like, that just makes it even harder for authority figures to like take things seriously or do anything. Because it's like, how often is it just some crazy person? You know.
Yeah, but it's like the cop's job. It's like, just look at the thing. Like,
well, but they can't. It's not her house.
Because she didn't have the keys to the house.
Yeah, they couldn't get in.
It's not her house.
They can put in reports to search it.
They'd have to get a warrant and talk to the homeowner, and I think they were
the
homeowner is
down there.
Down there. The basement too.
All right, we have anything else about this? All right. Next, Tess breaks into the house, retrieves her car keys, and rams the mother with her car. Seemingly killing her, Tess returns to the basement to rescue AJ, who accidentally shoots her with Frank's gun. The two escape and find that mother has vanished. Tess and AJ then take shelter with Andre. I might just finish it out. Andre explains that the mother is the product of Frank's multi-generational incest with his victims. Mother bursts in, kills Andre, and chases Tess and AJ up to the water tower. AJ loses his gun and pushes Tess off the water tower to save himself. Mother jumps after her and shields her from the fall. AJ finds Tess still alive, but as he tries to rationalize his actions to Tess, Mother revives and kills him. Mother attempts to comfort Tess, but she shoots Mother dead with Frank's gun and limps away as the sun rises. And that is
one thing I have to say. Mother is mothering.
She's mothering.
She really was the whole time. Like, she just wanted Tess to be safe the whole time.
The whole time. She literally jumped off to save her from dying.
And then fucking killed Justin Long to shit.
Also, I think it's so funny that the first horror movie that he's ever in was Jeepers Creepers, and he loses his eyes in that movie. And in this one, he dies by getting his eyes gouged out.
Got the Oberyn Martell treatment.
Yeah, the Pedro Pascal treatment right there.
I think the line where the homeless guy is like has them in his little quarters, and they're like, "She can't get in here, right?" And he's like, "She's never gotten in here ever." And then just like immediately she like
Kool-Aid man just
But like, literally Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, just immediately.
Yeah, she's not coming in here. You're safe.
But instead of like, oh yeah, it's like, baby.
Also, I love that the homeless guy like bangs on the fence and says, "Hey," and then when they turn to look at me, he's like, "Shh." I was like, "You're the one yelling."
Also, you have this moment where like AJ seems like he's like coming to his senses at one point because he like has that realization, and then he's
Maybe
up there.
I
and
am a bad person.
Maybe I am a bad person, and
No,
he's up
you
there.
are.
He's like, I gotta save myself, and like throws her.
And he's not even necessary.
And then he like later when he's like picking Tess up off the ground, he's like, I didn't let go. You started slipping. I was like,
yeah.
Fuck you, AJ. Fuck you.
You actually kind of jumped a little. You actually kind of wanted to.
It's like reminiscing of like when he was telling the story to his friend, and he was like twisting it into like a way that he's like, but she came around, and it's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, you totally fell. You fell, but you know it's fine. We're gonna get you out of here.
He like tells himself lies until he believes them, and he's like, yeah, I'm still a good person.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
it was
the hero here.
I love that Mama like. I mean, obviously, poor homeless guy didn't deserve it, but it was so funny. She like beat him with his own arm.
Like literally seconds after he was like, no, we're safe here.
We're safe in here. Yanks off his arm and just starts beating him with it. I've always wanted to do that. Just like,
well, because that's what my mom used to like jokingly threaten us with this kid. She was like, I'm gonna yank your arm off and beat you with it. And so I was like, Mother.
Like, hey, my mom used to do that. Nostalgia.
You know, no one beats their own children with their own arms anymore.
They really don't.
America's not the same.
Also, it was not funny. It's like a very serious, heartbreaking moment. But it's a little bit funny when Mama, like, the way she looks when she jumps off the tower after Tess, it was just kind of like...
It's giving like Tanya in White Lotus jumping off the boat.
And then she like, I guess because of her weight, she goes faster, so she like can shield Tess from like the fall.
As a character, she kind of just reminds me of Mongo from Shrek 2, the big gingerbread man.
Yeah.
We go.
Isn't that an Iron Giant reference?
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I would have
Unless
only
I'm
thought
crazy.
of it as Shrek 2.
I remember watching this in theaters. As soon as he threw her off, I was like, I swear to God, if Tess dies right now, like I will hate this movie. I was like, all thoughts gone. This movie sucks if Tess dies right now because this motherfucker lives.
The way they wrap it with like the gunshot fade to black and then Be My Baby starts playing, and then you sort of get like the last few snippets of like how she leaves is like, I remember it ended and we were just like
crazy.
Excuse the fuck out of
and
me.
Like A+ song choice too.
Seriously.
Oh, so good.
Oh, but it was so sad that Mama like gives her a kiss on the forehead and is like saying baby as Tess has to shoot her.
Yeah.
It was so
I mean, there was no other end for Mama though.
Because she was like, come on, we're going back. You're my baby.
Yeah, it's like every time
Tess is like, hello.
And it's like, there's no hope for like rehabilitating Mama. Like she can't.
Mama can't join society, you know.
Yeah. You can tell that she's like so upset that Tess is hurt. Like every time she lifts her, and Tess is like, because Tess has been shot. She's been thrown off a building. Like,
yeah, she's been through it.
Mama's head was like cracked open, and she just got up like it was nothing. I was like,
there was blood on the ground.
There
is a puddle of blood. Yeah.
What a great movie.
It was so good.
He's crazy.
Crazy movie. I literally picked this I made up this category just so I could pick this movie.
I love that.
Yeah.
Definitely is a mind fuck.
Yes. Yeah. We're 1 for 2.
We are 2 for
Get the hell
2.
out of here. Speaking of which, Siberia, is it your pick next?
It is my pick next.
Hmm.
And I'm picking a movie that half of us haven't seen. I know Pumpkin and Kerstin both have not seen this movie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it has on Rotten Tomatoes because I didn't look it up before this.
Okay.
But I watched it for the first time this past year, and the whole time I was just like,
Okay.
what? My pick is The Night House.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I have not.
excellent movie.
It's
see what
so
Rotten
good.
Tomatoes
It's available
says.
on Max.
Ooh, it's on Max.
Oh, it's on Max.
Yeah,
I
Max
watched Barbarian on
without the
Max.
HBO.
At least it's not on Netflix because I canceled my Netflix.
Yeah, it's probably
It has an 88 by critics and 69 from audience, which is pretty close to Barbarian, actually.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
close. Don't look up anything before you watch it. Just
I
watch
won't.
it.
I will.
Okay. Oh, it's got Rebecca Hall in it.
I'm excited to
So
rewatch
yeah,
that
it's a
one.
crazy one.
Yay!
It's a mind fuck.
I am too, because I was gooped the
Yeah.
first time I saw this movie.
Yeah. It's a great
Excited.
movie. Ooh, fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one.
Okay.
All
It deals
right.
with grief. It deals with fun things like that.
Oh, okay.
Fun is an interesting word to use.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the movie is fun in like the what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
it's very Agreed.
But
My pick
yeah,
is
it's
not
like a
fun.
subject matter.
I'm excited for Pumpkin's pick.
I'm enjoying all.
I
of
hope
it.
it's what I think.
It probably is. It's one that I walked away like,
So yeah, everybody watch The Night House on Max,
Yeah.
and we will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.